Hello, before we get into the video, I just want to let you guys know that the Marnie Cup tournaments is just around the corner in October. This is a special event hosted by Guido and myself, and we will be giving codes out just for viewers tuning in and watching the stream, and we also have some very juice rewards for participants in the tournament as well. If you guys are interested in signing up, all you have to do is go into the description, join the Discord, and go to the Marnie Cup section and put your class, family, and a trial character name, and you're pretty much good to go. I have to stress, this is a trial tournament, so do not put your main character name. Like I said, you can keep the family name because that's across all characters, but your character name has to be the one based off of your trial. And if you don't know how to create a trial character, all you got to do is just go to your character selection screen, go over to the trial section tab, and then create one, buy your trial gear, and then set it up as you would your main. Just get all the skill points, get all the gear, and make sure you select your proper add-ons, and you're pretty much good to go. And that's pretty much it. Hopefully I see you guys there. I will be back from vacation in about a week, and I will be here for sure for the Marnie Cup, and I will be co-hosting it with Guido on his stream, and we will see what else is going on at that time. But for now, enjoy the rest of the video. I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye. Hello. Today we're going to be going over yellow loot scrolls versus blue loot scrolls and just the best way to optimally use them. If you are an absolute grind maniac like me and you don't wail on loot scrolls or whatever it is that you do, this might be the video that will help you kind of understand the difference between blue and yellow, where to optimally use them in the most, I guess, practical way would be the word to use. I just get asked a lot of times where people will send me messages of their gear and they're like, well, I pull this much trash loot and I have this much AP. Should I be doing better? I saw a guy on PC, he pulled more trash than me, things like that. And I just kind of want to answer these questions really quickly in this video before I go on vacation. So we're going to start off by going to Star's End. This is a very, I guess, easy way to kind of put this into words. So blue loot scroll versus yellow. This is the this is one of the worst spots to use a yellow loot scroll. I used to do it back in the day just because I wanted to make the most out of it, because back then I didn't have a whole lot of time to play. So I'm like, well, I'll use a yellow loot scroll because I need to make the most out of my hour that I have to play, or a couple hours. So I'll use a yellow loot scroll, and I would burn through those throughout the week. I'd burn through a shit ton. If we take a look here, a black distortion earring is 67% of the profit at this area. So you have to take that into consideration, where if you don't get one, you're not making a whole lot of money. If we look here on a blue loot scroll, the average trash is 5,100, right? We go up to a yellow, it shoots up to 68. So about like a, 1,500 increase, something like that. But the idea here is to realize that the difference in money that you are making per hour, 379 million silver on a blue versus a yellow loot scroll at 405 million. So like a 30 mil increase. Remember, it takes 2 blue loot scrolls to make 1 yellow loot scroll. And in this case, it's not necessarily worth, because you would be burning 2 loot scrolls to only make 30 more mil. And if you don't get a distortion, it's still not worth it. The trash that you would be making is minute as hell. I'll do a small muck example here. We'll start at 6,500 on a blue loot scroll, and then I'll put in some sort of just kind of numbers here that would optimally represent an accurate hour for Star's End. Let's put this, put that, and like 32. So this is about accurate for an hour at Star's End, right? So blue loot scroll, 6,500, 187 million silver is what you would be making without a distortion drop. If you happen to get a distortion, you would jump to 476 million silver. So again, over 50% of your profit is tied to that distortion earring. If you do multiple hours of Star's End and you don't get one, then this is all you are going to be making if you were to theoretically sell everything of value on the marketplace and to a vendor. So that is the biggest problem when it comes to Star's End, is no distortion earring, no money pretty much. Even if you use a yellow loot scroll, we change the loot up and we jump to like 8k. That's a drastic increase, but just for the sake of example, even if we go from 6,500 to 8,000, we are still only getting like a 25-35 mil increase in money. So a yellow loot scroll is just not worth it at Star's End. It just makes no sense. if you are a person that is pressed for time and you only have maybe a couple hours out of your day to grind, this is not a place that you would genuinely go to. Star's End is that area that, you know, either high-end players go so that way they can stockpile distortion earrings to sell at a mass later on, or they will do some enhancing and something along the lines of that, right? They won't really rely too much on, you know, trash. Even if you were like cracked as hell, this is a very extreme example, okay? Even if you could pull 20k trash at Star's End, it's still not a lot of money. 396 million at 20k. First of all, I don't think there's a single person that has ever pulled 20k on a yellow loot scroll, so this is not even physically possible. But even if it was, you still make just as much money on a blue loot scroll at trees. I'm just saying that the money here is the distortion earring, so don't bank on that. It's just not worth it. However, if you do want to grind with a yellow loot scroll, there's a few different spots that you can go to that would optimally make sense for that scenario. So if we take a look here at Centaurs, right? Already blue loot scroll, we're looking good. 364 million. You're already making double what a blue loot scroll makes at Star's End. Let's jump to a yellow loot scroll. Boom, 440. Almost a damn near over like what? Like what, 80, 90 mil, 100 mil increase, even higher? Let's add Agrison because this is a very good Agris spot. Boom, 667 million silver. This is where you go to burn yellow and Agris. Over 50% of your profit is based around the trash loot. 79.4% of your profit is based around this right here, the trash. So this is what you're aiming for. You got to remember, yellow loot scrolls, this just increases your drop amount, not drop rate. The blue loot scroll drop rate is still 100%. So when it comes to a distortion earring, whether or not you get a drop there is not going to be affected by a blue or yellow. What is affected is the amount of trash that drops. So if you're looking to burn a yellow loot scroll, you want to go to a place where you are getting the absolute most out of a yellow, which would be places that are based around trash loot, which is like anywhere in the desert, at trees, Camasilva, Gyphins, things like that. These areas are totally based around trash loot, and there's a drop there that would not make any difference at all. As you can see here at Centaurs, there is really nothing here that makes any kind of significant money. Everything is under the 10% profit value. So overall, most of your money is going to be based around trash. So therefore, a yellow loot scroll is what is going to be optimal for this spot. Another good example would be Orc Camp. This is sort of for the high gear score players, but this is a yellow loot scroll area because you can pull a dummy amount of money here. The average is like 19k, which I'd say that's a little high for like console. I think for me personally, at 301 Kudum, I can pull like 18.1k, 17.5 around there. It's kind of where I bounce around between depending on how zoned in I am on the grind, but either which way, it's still a little bit over 500 million silver an hour, and that's for a yellow loot scroll. Once again, over 50% of our profit is entirely based around the trash loot, and you know, the other 10% is based around the shards, the seeds of void, things like that. So you're mostly banking on trash loot once again, which means this yellow loot scroll becomes the most valuable thing to use here. Even if you were to use a blue though, it would not be that bad. Even if you did, if you're pressed for loot scrolls at like maybe you have 40 left or something and you want to make the most out of it, a blue loot scroll is totally okay as well. You will still make pretty good money just based around blues. And the increase is not that much, you know, 475 to, you know, 563. It's about like a 90, 100 mil increase, almost something like that. And it's actually under that by quite a bit, but either which way, it's like a 70 mil increase, something along the lines of that. So that's just another example. And I guess to just give one more decent example for my low gear score people, Polly's Forest. This is another area which I would say a blue loot scroll is kind of like, it's good. But if you use a yellow, again, over 70% or almost over 70% of your profit is entirely based around the trash loot. So if you use a yellow loot scroll, I don't blame you. It's actually not horrible. A blue loot scroll is 262, but if you use a yellow, you jump up to 316. It's about a 50 mil trash increase. And since there's not really anything here that's going to kind of increase your money per hour by a drastic amount, you want to get the most amount of trash loot. So a yellow loot scroll makes the most sense here. So yeah, hopefully that kind of answers the questions about everything when it comes to trash loot in terms of like what's optimal, blue or yellow loot scrolls. If you're pressed for loot scrolls and you don't want to whale and you want to optimally use your loot scrolls a bit more with some brain function, this should help you in some degree. If you have any more questions, leave them down below and I will try my best to answer them. But that being said, I will talk to you guys later. Don't forget to sign up for the Halloween tournament, the Marnie Cup that me and Guido are going to be hosting. More information will come on that. I have the Discord down below and you guys can sign up there. And I went through the instructions in the beginning of the video. So by all means, hopefully you guys sign up and I will see you guys there for the large prize pool because that shit is nuts. But that's it. Bye-bye.